Alright, this week's episode of Fairy Tail was very interesting. It was fun, but at the same time there were a couple of moments, specifically one moment that just made me feel uncomfortable. Anyway, we start off with Cowgirl and his fight with Gemini. And we find out that Gemini's ability is to transform anyone he wants into anything he wants. And at first I'm thinking like that's a terrifying ability. I mean, they can pretty much just turn into a bug and then squish you like instantly if they, take advantage of the surprise attack. But they're kids, they don't think that far ahead and just turn Cowgirl and Panther Lily into squirrels and want to play with them like pets. And at first I'm thinking is like, how are they gonna get out of this? I mean, he's a squirrel now. And there's a bit of comedy there, here and there. He finally gets turned into a cat. Then all of a sudden, he just, uses magic and defeats them easily. And I'm thinking is like, why didn't he do that before? He says he didn't think about it, but at the same time, I assume that, he would have been mad that he was turned into a squirrel and immediately trying to use magic. But, apparently he didn't do that. He just assumes since he's a squirrel he can't use magic, which, okay, I guess I can believe. I still have to question about it because why wouldn't you try to use magic at first? I mean, if you were turned to a squirrel, wouldn't you at least attempt to see if it still works? But again, it's probably just me. And then after that, we go to the princess, which is still having her own little pity party saying it's my fault. The celestial spirits could probably die and they're causing so much damage because of me. And honestly, I'm getting tired of that. I'm really hoping she does something to redeem herself in her own mind because I don't blame her. No one else blames her. So really, it's just her and her alone. I don't like people who constantly bag on themselves. Either get over it somehow or find a way to make it up to others, so you feel better. Because no one's blaming you, really. No one is. It's just you. Anyway, then we go to a quick scene between Lucy and Virgo, which I don't understand why we're doing this, just constantly going back and forth. Because all she really does is say, I don't want to hurt Virgo, but I might have no choice if I'm going to save her. And that's how it ends. It's just probably maybe like a 2-minute thing. And again, I'm getting tired of this. Let's see what they're doing now, but only for a couple minutes. Then we'll go over here. It's like, wait, you either show us the full fight or don't show us at all anything, because then what's the point? You're just taking out scenes that could be used in the actual episode that they're fighting in. But again, whatever, that's just me. Then we go over to Urza and Sagittarius, and their fight at first actually seems equal and fair. Because Sagittarius is this honorable fighter. He doesn't use dirty tricks or anything. He admits defeat the first round. Second round, he wins pretty fairly. And, the fight's going pretty nicely, very easily. And I'm surprised because some of the other celestial spirits have been using tricks or something that they can play advantage to. But Sagittarius is sticking to his his roots, I suppose. He just seems an honorable sword. I guess it's because of the horse, blood in him. I don't know. Although when Urza finally defeats him, I kind of felt a bit uncomfortable. At first, it was just, she turned into a rodeo girl. Whatever, fan service. It's fine. But then she brings out the ball and gag and then a horse whip. And I'm thinking, it's like, did she actually have that in her, other space inventory? Why would she have a ball gag and a horse whip? It kind of made me feel uncomfortable and just question some of her, tastes. I mean, she's had weird taste before, especially in clothing, but a ball gag and a horse whip? I don't know how to feel about that. It's like S&M is trying to break into my anime, and I don't want S&M in my anime. I don't go to anime for S&M. But again, it's very quick. It's harmless. There's no real intent behind it, but it's weird watching Sagittarius with a ball gag running like kind of in pain, I suppose. It just made me feel uncomfortable. But it didn't last long. Sagittarius admits defeat and he loses. Now it's after that, it's go back to Loki with Natsu, Wendy, and everyone else. I still have to call the spirit the snake because her name is just so hard for me to pronounce. But either way, we finally get to see that she's actually, just using some kind of like other form or first form as a female. So I'm kind of glad about that because the actual form is just as terrifying as I hoped it would be. It's just this giant snake or like mutant and no eyes. It's just like this big old eyeless snake, and it's just as terrifying as I was hoping it would be. And apparently they've been fighting for the last couple minutes inside her own body, which is terrifying in itself. But anyway, apparently Loki has found some way to use, you know, the this ritual without the other celestial spirits because of the darkness. Now, at first I'm thinking the darkness is just some magic that he's using, but now I'm thinking that the darkness is some kind of outer force that's, you know, influencing them. Because if it is, I'd like to know. If it's not, it's just some form of magic that he's depending on, that's all fine too. But the way he's talking about it makes it seem like it's sentient, like it's talking to him. And, you know, Loki's crazy enough already without, you know, him hearing voices. But anyway, it pretty much ends on a good note, you know, suspenseful. I'm wondering what's going to happen next. And I like this episode, except for that one moment where I have to watch Sagittarius, an honorable fighter, being ball and gagged. Either way, again, like I said, this episode's fine. I had fun, it was funny, and I can't wait for the next one. Until then, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye-bye.